Hello guys, it's Kev again. So in the last video I showed you how you can install your Expo app, and now that it's done you should see something like this. It means that it has been successfully installed. It says your project is ready. So before we get to run the project, let me take you through the folder structure and what each of these folder does in your project. So the first one is app. You've guessed it. The app folder contains files that will show inside your app. So in these files are basically JavaScript files, but in this case we have TypeScript. Okay, TypeScript uh, is it can be used to run your JavaScript code. So it has got these are just basic files that you can use to design your app. For example, look at this line of code. For instance, you will see an image. So if you want to render an image, you write that code inside your app, the files that are inside your app folder. So the take home here, the point is that the app folder has got the files that you will use to design your app. So you write your code in the app folder. All right. Then this folder can have multiple folders inside, regarding depending on how you want to structure your mobile app. And then the second folder is assets. So the assets has got two folders: the fonts and then the images. The fonts is just a folder where you can place all your font that you want to use for your mobile app. And then the images will contain images that you want to put inside your mobile app. This is all under assets. So assets, and then the next folder is a component file. The components is a folder that has uh, small functions of code that you can import inside your app folder. So maybe you want to restructure your app in a way that you have maybe a bottom tabs or some elements or some components uh, to be used in multiple pages of your app. You don't want to code over and over again. You can just make that a component, then that component can be imported inside your app folder. And then there's a constant. A constant keeps data in your app. So in our case, you see the constants is just being used to keep data, something like the color. You see there's light and then there's dark. So a lot of apps that are being developed right now are being shipped with both dark mode and light mode. So the constants folder is a folder that will where you define your colors, and your app can just come here and then choose the colors based on the theme. Then your hooks, these are predefined functions that you can use. For example, one of the function is a color scheme. It helps you select the color scheme. All right, and then there's a use color scheme, which is a hook. All right, you can either use it to return the light mode, dark mode, or the system. And this is just example of a hook, and these are custom hooks that you're supposed to put in here. Of course, Expo comes with hooks that we'll get into as we go on, but these are just custom hooks that you write. The node modules is a folder that will contain all the dependencies that you're going to install inside your app. And you'll see that when you're shipping your app, you don't need to include the node modules in your GitHub or when you're building your app. All right. So there's a scripts folder. The scripts folder contains custom scripts that you can write. If you want your app to do some certain things, maybe I'll give you an example. Let's say when you're building your app, you want to push the final images maybe on a specific server, or decode or encrypt a certain file as you're building it, converting to an APK, you can write that in the scripts. All right, so the script that's written here is reset project. Okay, then let's go to the files. The first file that you see is a git ignore. This is just some files that will be ignored when you're pushing your project to the GitHub. Then the app.json now shows the configuration of your app, such as the app name. In my case, the app name is test app. Then the version, and then the orientation, which is portrait. You can put it to default, or you can put it to landscape. I think automatic should work, and then the icon instead of so this will specify how it's going to behave on iOS, how it's going to behave on Android, and how it's going to behave on web. And then if you are adding plugins, there's some plugins that will need to configure inside here. But one of the plugin is a splash screen, Explore splash screen. Another plugin that you might need to add here is the Expo fonts. So we'll get to that in a sec. But for now, this is what you have to know. The app.json is where you can configure your application form. So if you wanted to change the name of your app, you can just do it here. Then your app will adapt to the name that you gave it. Package.json and the package.look are just the same. So you look at the package.json, and then here it shows you just the name, and then it shows you the app entry. So here it's using Expo router. Okay, and then you see the version that you can set from here, and then it shows you a script. Scripts, these are the things that you can learn in the terminal. If you want to start the project, you need to write this script, which is export.start. Of course, when you just write it like this, it will not run. So you need to use a package such as Node or npx to run this script. So you just say npx export start, then it should start the project for you. So in case you forget that, if you want to reset the project, you can just run this script that says node, and then you can put where to where the reset script is, and then it should reset. But I'll show you how to do that in the next video. And then if you want to start your app on Android and you have an Android phone connected to your computer, or you're running it from an emulator, you can just pass this, and it's the same command, but you just pass dash dash Android. It opens the app in Android. When you put dash dash iOS, it opens the app on iOS. If you push web, it opens in web. So these are mostly the useful scripts that you can use in Expo. In case you forget on how to start your app, just go in package.json, then you'll see the commands here. Now, aside from scripts, you have what we call dependencies. Dependencies are packages that your Expo is running on. In my case, you see that there's the starting from line 43 coming down, there's TypeScripts already imported here. There's just Expo, and then whatever you're going to install from now on will come sit inside the dependencies, the one that starts on line 17. So these dependencies here, I already have vector icons. I have React navigation bottom tabs already coming here. There's a navigation, React the navigation, and then there's Expo blur constants. So these are the dependencies that have already been installed when we are creating the mobile app. There's React Native Web, there's WebView, Cassandra. So you need to add some as you go on, depending on what you are building. So this is what you need to know. The README is straightforward. And then it just shows you how you can what will run if you post it maybe on GitHub, or maybe to help another developer to see what's going on inside your project. And yeah, then there's some TypeScript configuration that you can use here. In my case, you can see that whatever I put this, it will be an alias to start maybe from the root. Then it should also be able to load TypeScript. So this is just some information to help your application run on TypeScript. Okay, now that you've understood the folder structure, the next step is to run your mobile app. Okay, so we'll do that in the next video. Bye for now.